7:13 a.m. Two police cruisers in my driveway, lights flashing, the lead cop's hand hovering near his belt like I'm some kind of threat. I'm holding a coffee mug with the Army Corps of Engineers logo, standing on the property I bought 6 months ago, paid in full, deed in hand. And HOA President Deidre Kensington is 40 feet back, arms crossed, smirking behind her designer sunglasses like she just won the lottery. 4 hours earlier, she'd called 911. Told them there was a dangerous, possibly armed squatter refusing to leave. Classic swatting move. Except I'm a 54-year-old veteran who just wanted to build a workshop in peace. The morning air smelled like fresh-cut grass and Deidre's desperation. What she didn't know? I had the one piece of paper that was about to flip her entire world upside down. What would you do if someone tried to get you arrested on your own land? Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Let's see how many HOA nightmares are out there. My name's Garrett Hollins, 54, divorced, 2 kids in college and med school, 20 years in the Army Corps of Engineers before I started a civil engineering consultancy here in Tulsa. I'm not the kind of guy who goes looking for trouble. I've had my fill of that overseas. 6 months ago, I bought 3.2 acres on the edge of Pinewood Estates subdivision. The plan was simple: build a workshop, convert the detached garage into a machine shop, have a place where my kids could visit without tripping over their mom's new boyfriend. The property's gorgeous. A 150-year-old oak tree dominates the front yard. Its branches creak like an old sailing ship when the wind picks up. Inside my half-finished workshop, the air smells like sawdust and motor oil, and every surface has a fine coating of metal shavings that glints in the afternoon sun. Here's the thing. When I bought this land, it was outside the Pinewood Estates HOA boundaries. I've got a 2018 survey proving it. The property line ends 200 feet east of my driveway. I made damn sure before signing anything because I've heard the horror stories. HOAs fining people for garden gnomes, liens for the wrong mailbox color. Pinewood Estates is your standard upper-middle-class suburb. 127 homes, built 2015 to 2019. HOA dues at $385 a month. But 6 months ago, right when I closed, the HOA quietly filed paperwork with the county to correct boundaries, pulling my land into their jurisdiction without notice. No certified letter, no hearing, just bureaucratic theft. That's when I met Deidre Kensington, 49, real estate agent, HOA president for 18 months. Picture someone who wears pastel blazers like battle armor and says community standards the way cult leaders say divine will. Her voice has the pitch and warmth of a table saw cutting sheet metal. She drives a white Lexus RX vanity plate HOA QN because apparently irony is dead. Stories about Deidre circulate like legend. Liens on homes for unauthorized garden gnomes, fines for kids' chalk art, foreclosures over late fees. I also noticed she's cold to the 3 black families in the neighborhood, dismissive of Ruben Cortez, my neighbor, retired Latino machinist, and generally treats anyone without a white-collar job like they're trespassing on her country club. Week 1 after I moved in, I get a certified letter. The envelope has that waxy, official texture. The paper inside smells faintly of cheap toner and entitlement. $2,500 fine for an unapproved structure. My garage, which existed before their HOA, claimed my land. I respond via email with my survey, deed, and a legal opinion from my paralegal buddy. I'm not in your HOA. Week 3. Deidre appears in person. Clipboard, designer sunglasses, photographing my property like she's Sherlock Holmes solving a murder. Threatens a lien. Says I'm setting a bad precedent. I tell her to leave. Week 5, new letter, $5,000 plus $150 in daily penalties. Mentions legal action and foreclosure proceedings. I dealt with insurgents in Fallujah who negotiated in better faith. My neighbor Ruben brought over beer that night. 60-something thinks the HOA is clowns with clipboards. He said, "They're bleeding you dry, brother. That's the game. Make fighting so expensive you quit." I called Lucia Brennan, local attorney, sharp, early 40s. I'd helped her mother with a drainage issue for free. She owed me. "Boundary annexation without notice?" Lucia said. "That's not just wrong, Garrett. That's fraud." Then there's Travis and Mallory Kent, young couple already fighting $8,000 in fines for installing a swing set. I realized Deidre isn't just targeting me. She's running a scam on 127 families, so I ignored her letters. I was legally right. That's when she went nuclear. She filed a police report. Claimed I was trespassing on HOA common area, my own driveway, and that I'd verbally threatened her. Total lie, which is how I ended up with 2 cops in my driveway at 7:13 a.m. while Deidre stood back, smirking, waiting for me to get arrested. In that moment, I understood. This wasn't about fines. Deidre was setting me up for something worse. So there I am, 7:13 a.m., two cops walking up my driveway. The lead officer is Sergeant Pacheco, mid-40s, built solid, hand hovering near his belt. His partner's younger, nervous, scanning my property like I'm running a cartel. I stay calm, hands visible, coffee mug in one hand. 20 years in the Army teaches you how to de-escalate before things get stupid. "Morning, officers," I say. "I'm guessing Deidre Kensington called this in?" Pacheco nods, pulls out a notepad. "We got a report of trespassing on HOA common property. Also a claim you verbally threatened the HOA president. Your side?" I set my coffee down. "Happy to. But first, can I show you some paperwork?" I go inside, slowly, announcing every move, and grab my folder. Survey, deed, title insurance, email chain with Deidre, even a dash cam still frame from week 3 showing her on my property uninvited. I lay it all out on the hood of Pacheco's cruiser. The metal's still cool from the morning air, and the paperwork makes a crisp shuffling sound as he flips through page by page. He takes his time, radios something in, checks the survey against the county plat map on his phone. 5 minutes pass. Deidre's still 40 feet back, arms crossed, tension radiating off her like heat from asphalt. Finally, Pacheco looks up. "Ma'am," he calls out, "this is a civil dispute, not criminal trespass. Mr. Hollins has documentation showing his property boundary. You'll need to resolve this through the courts." Her mask cracks. She stalks forward, heels clicking. "Excuse me? I pay your salary through my taxes, and you're telling me you won't enforce—" Pacheco cuts her off, voice flat. "Ma'am, I don't enforce HOA bylaws. If you believe he's in violation of a civil contract, hire a lawyer." She sputters, spins on her heel, and marches to her Lexus. Yanks the door so hard I'm surprised the hinges hold. She peels out, tires squealing. The smell of burnt rubber hangs in the air for a solid 10 seconds. Pacheco watches her go, shakes his head, hands me his card. "Mr. Hollins, off the record, document everything. Every interaction, every letter, every time she shows up. I've seen HOAs pull this before. Next time, she might embellish more. Protect yourself." I thank him. The cruisers leave, and I'm standing there realizing Deidre just tried to weaponize law enforcement against me. This wasn't about dues anymore. This was about forcing me into submission or bankrupting me with legal fees. I call Lucia Brennan. She picks up on the second ring. I explain what happened. The police, the false report, Pacheco's warning. There's a pause. Then, "Garrett, she just flirted with malicious prosecution. If she's willing to lie to police, she'll lie in court. I'm taking your case. Pro bono for now." First move. Lucia sends a cease and desist to the HOA, demands they rescind all fines and threats, warns that further harassment means a lawsuit for malicious prosecution and abuse of process. She also files a formal complaint with the county about the improper boundary amendment. Oklahoma law requires certified mail to affected landowners when boundaries change. I never got one. That makes the annexation void. Here's your first knowledge nugget. If your HOA tries to expand its boundaries, check your state's laws. Most require proper notice, and without it, the change is legally unenforceable. Deidre's response comes fast. Ruben hears she called an emergency board meeting that afternoon. Her spin: "This squatter is attacking our authority with frivolous legal threats. If we back down, every homeowner will stop paying dues." The board, 4 spineless yes men terrified of her, votes to pursue all legal remedies. Translation: they're doubling down. 2 days later, I'm at the hardware store when Travis and Mallory Kent approach me. Mallory's holding their toddler. Travis looks exhausted. "Garrett, we heard you got a lawyer. Can she help us too?" Turns out, 9 families are underwater on HOA fines. One elderly couple faces foreclosure over a $12,000 lien that started as $400 in late fees. I realize this is bigger than my property line. Deidre's running a scam on 127 families. That night, Ruben and I sit on my porch with beers. "You know what Deidre's problem is?" I say. "She's got HOA president syndrome, like mall cop energy but with a gavel and a vengeance." Ruben snorts. "Nah, man, she's got yacht club energy in a kiddie pool subdivision. She thinks she's running the Hamptons, but it's Tulsa, and nobody's impressed." I'm laughing when my phone buzzes. Unknown number. A photo of my truck parked at Home Depot earlier that day. Caption: "We're watching." I show Lucia. She tells me to install cameras immediately. But here's the thing. I'd fought actual threats overseas, IEDs, ambushes, people who genuinely wanted me dead. This suburban Mean Girls reboot wasn't going to rattle me, but it did piss me off. Week 7. The HOA files a lawsuit in county court. Declaratory judgment to enforce covenants. Their angle. Even if my land was outside the original boundaries, the corrected plat map filed 6 months ago is legally binding. They've hired Conrad Trimble, a strip mall attorney in his 60s who wins through default judgments and intimidation. Guy probably advertises on bus benches. Lucia responds with a motion to dismiss plus counterclaim. Fraud, harassment, abusive process. Discovery begins. She subpoenas HOA financial records, meeting minutes, everything. And here's where it gets good. The corrected plat map was never properly noticed. Oklahoma law requires certified mail to affected landowners. I got nothing. The annexation is void. Second knowledge nugget. Always check if legal notices were properly served. Improper service can invalidate contracts, liens, even lawsuits. No certified mail? They might have no case. But Deidre doesn't care about legalities. She cares about crushing me. The harassment ramps up. HOA sends inspectors, Deidre's real estate cronies, to photograph my property bi-weekly. I wake up one morning to orange code violation stickers plastered on my mailbox, garage door, even my truck. The stickers smell like cheap adhesive and spite, leaving a gummy residue that takes WD-40 and 20 minutes of scrubbing to remove. Ruben catches one inspector on camera using my trash cans as a stepladder to photograph over my fence. Trespassing. I install 6 security cameras, upload everything to cloud storage, start a Google Doc logging every interaction, every letter, time-stamped and cross-referenced. Lucia says, "Discovery is beautiful. Let's see how clean their hands are." Spoiler, they're filthy. Her paralegal finds $140,000 missing from HOA financials. Vague line items, administrative fees, community enhancement consulting. Cross-reference meeting minutes. Deidre's LLC was paid $18,000 for property management services. But the HOA already pays a management company. This isn't petty tyranny. This is embezzlement. Mallory Kent hosts a secret backyard meeting. 11 families show up with horror stories. One couple fined $3,000 for solar panels, which Oklahoma law explicitly protects. An elderly widower threatened with foreclosure over $400 that ballooned to $6,000 in interest and legal costs. I propose a coalition, maybe class action. Lucia, attending incognito, says, "I can work with this." Deidre hears about the meeting. One attendee's spouse is on the board. Emergency vote. Anyone organizing against the HOA gets special assessment fees of $1,000 per month until compliance. I get the notice next day. So do Travis, Mallory, and 4 others. Extortion dressed as parliamentary procedure. Late one night, my doorbell camera captures someone spray painting "deadbeat" across my garage door. Footage shows a white Lexus RX in the background, license plate partially visible. I send clips to Lucia and Sergeant Pacheco. Pacheco replies, "That's vandalism. File a report. I'll increase patrol presence." I file it. Upgrade to 24/7 monitoring. The spray paint smells like chemical solvent and desperation when I scrub it off next morning. The rough garage door texture catching on the rag with every stroke. My daughter texts, "Dad, are you okay? Mom says you're in some legal thing." I downplay it, but internally I'm furious. Deidre's tactics are affecting how my family sees me. I'm up at 3 a.m. cross-referencing documents. Sleep's optional now. Then Lucia calls. "Garrett, I've been digging into property transactions in Pinewood Estates. You need to see this." She sends a spreadsheet. 3 properties foreclosed by the HOA in 2 years were bought at auction by Deidre's LLC and board members' family trusts. Purchase prices, 40 to 50% below market. Patterns clear. Family gets fined, can't pay, foreclosure, insiders buy cheap, flip for profit. This isn't just embezzlement. This is a predatory scheme, possibly racketeering. Lucia files an amended counterclaim adding federal RICO allegations. Contacts Oklahoma Real Estate Commission. Deidre's license could be revoked. Strategic pivot. Lucia, we go public. Civil court drags for years. Media pressure works fast. I hesitate. I'm private, ex-military, hate attention. Mallory volunteers. I'm a freelance journalist. Let me pitch the Tulsa Gazette. Deidre hears we found the foreclosure pattern. Emergency meeting. Motion to settle. Drop all fines. Remove lien. If I sign an NDA and release claims. Trimble delivers via Zoom. Your client should take this. Discovery gets ugly for everyone. I laugh in his face. Tell Deidre I don't negotiate with con artists. See you in court. Internally, I know. Deidre offering to settle means she's scared. Discovery is working. That night, Ruben brings over beer. You know what's wild? Deidre runs this HOA like a cartel, but she probably thinks she's the hero. I take a sip. Every villain does, Ruben. Every villain does. My phone buzzes. Certified letter notification. Not from the HOA, from a title company. Notice of foreclosure sale. Pinewood Estates HOA common property. I speed read. The HOA itself is being foreclosed on by a bank holding a $1.2 million construction loan from 2019. Payments haven't been made in 18 months. Auction in 30 days. My engineer brain lights up. Wait, if the HOA loses its common property, what happens to its legal standing? I call Lucia. I just figured out how to buy the HOA. Week 10. The HOA places a lien on my property, even though the annexation's being contested. Trimble argues it's standard procedure during disputes. The judge allows it temporarily, which means I can't refinance or sell. My equity's frozen. Deidre's playing financial hostage taker. The real damage is psychological. She launches a whisper campaign, tells neighbors I'm a troublemaker, litigious, don't respect community values. Posts on the Pinewood Estates Facebook group, private, 200 members. Reminder, unpaid dues and fines are every member's responsibility. Freeloaders hurt us all. Doesn't name me, doesn't have to. 3 neighbors who used to wave now cross the street. My son calls. Dad, Mom said you're in legal trouble? I downplay it. But internally, I'm furious. Sleep becomes optional. I'm up at 3 a.m., mapping strategies, drinking too much coffee. So I do what engineers do, analyze. I pull county records on every Pinewood Estates property transaction for 5 years, cross-reference dates, buyers, prices, and there it is. 3 foreclosed properties bought at auction by Deidre's LLC and board members' family trusts. Prices, 40 to 50% below market. Pattern surgical. Family gets fined, can't pay, foreclosure, insider buys cheap, flips within 6 months at full price. Profit margins between 80 and 120 grand per property. This isn't embezzlement, this is organized fraud. I call Lucia at 6 a.m. Garrett, if we prove conspiracy, that's federal RICO. Mail fraud, wire fraud, everything. She files an amended counterclaim immediately. Contacts Oklahoma Real Estate Commission. Deidre's license is now under investigation. Third knowledge nugget. RICO laws aren't just for mobsters. If someone's running a pattern of fraud through an organization, even an HOA, federal racketeering charges can apply. It turns civil cases into criminal exposure. Lucia's advice? Go public. Civil courts slow. Media pressures fast. I hesitate. I'm private, ex-military, hate attention. Mallory volunteers. I'm a freelance journalist. Let me pitch the Tulsa Gazette. This is exactly their kind of story. I agree. Deidre hears we've documented the foreclosure scheme. Emergency board meeting. Motion to settle. Drop all fines. Remove lien. Clean slate. If I sign an NDA and release all claims. Trimble delivers via Zoom. Mr. Hollins, you should seriously consider this. Discovery gets ugly for everyone. I stare at the camera. Laugh. Tell Deidre I don't negotiate with con artists. See you in court. Lucia's grinning. Settlement offers mean she's cornered. We organize a second community meeting. 22 families show up, double the first time. The VFW hall smells like stale coffee and old wood polish. Folding chairs squeak as people lean forward, hungry for hope. Lucia explains in plain English. If we prove the foreclosure scheme was intentional, we might void those sales. Get people their homes back. One elderly woman in back breaks down crying. I lost my house 2 years ago, thought I was alone. I stand. You're not alone. None of us are. Ruben's nodding in back. Travis takes notes. Mallory records audio. It feels less like a meeting, more like a reckoning. Late that night, Ruben texts a screenshot. Fake Facebook profile. Pinewood truth teller. Posting lies. Garrett Hollins is a con man working with out-of-state investors to displace families. Photoshopped documents. Fake names. Going viral. My phone explodes with confused messages. Travis traces the IP within an hour. Deidre's home network. Mallory writes a follow-up. HOA president behind fake social media smear campaign. Screenshots, metadata, everything. Facebook removes the account. Deidre's credibility craters. But I know what this means. She's desperate. Cornered. Morning of the auction hearing, 7:15 a.m. I'm on my porch with coffee when Deidre's Lexus pulls up. She gets out. No makeup. Hair messy. First time I've seen her not camera ready. 2 board members flank her. She approaches. Garrett, please, I'll resign. We'll drop everything. Just don't buy the property. Let someone neutral take it. Her voice cracks. I set my coffee down. Neutral? Like one of your LLC buddies who'll flip it and screw over 127 families? She's trembling now. You don't understand. If you do this, I lose everything. My reputation, my license, my business. I look her in the eye. You should have thought about that before you turned this neighborhood into your personal ATM. The morning air is cool, almost crisp. The courthouse limestone will smell faintly of rain from last night. Deidre's perfume, usually overwhelming, is absent. She smells like stale coffee and fear. 7:45 a.m. Two men in suits approach. One's Trimble's son, also a lawyer. They imply, "You sure you want to do this?" People who mess with the wrong folks find their business prospects drying up. I'm former military, unfazed. "Are you threatening me on courthouse property in front of witnesses?" Ruben's nearby, phone recording. "Yeah, are you?" They retreat. Lucia files harassment complaint immediately. 8 a.m. sharp. Auction begins. Auctioneer reads legal description. Opening bid, $850. I raise my paddle. $875. Silence. No other bidders. "Going once, twice," Deidre shouts from the crowd. "This is illegal. He's not even in the HOA. Auctioneer. "Ma'am, this is a public auction. Anyone can bid. Sold to bidder 7 for $875,000. I hand over the cashier's check. Receive preliminary deed. TV crew interviews me. "How does it feel?" I look at the camera. It feels like justice. I'm standing on courthouse steps, deed in hand, when the full picture clicks. Let me explain what I just bought and why it changes everything. Pinewood Estates common areas, clubhouse, pool, playground, entrance monuments, detention ponds are owned by the HOA as an entity. 22 acres. But here's what nobody knows. In 2019, when the developer went bankrupt mid-construction, the HOA took out a loan to finish amenities. $1.2 million, secured by the common property. Interest-only payments for 5 years. Balloon payment due 2024. They missed it. The bank filed foreclosure quietly. Non-judicial. In Oklahoma, that means no courtroom, just public notice and auction. Most homeowners had no clue. I call Lucia from my truck. She's already connecting dots. You own the land now, but not the HOA's authority. However, Oklahoma law lets the common area owner dissolve an HOA if 75% of homeowners agree, or if it's insolvent. I hear typing. Proving insolvency, easy. Defaulted $1.2 million loan, $200,000 in legal judgments, $250,000 embezzled. They're bankrupt. Here's the play. Prove insolvency, petition court to dissolve the HOA, then deed the common areas to a new community land trust, nonprofit, democratically governed, transparent. Everything the HOA should have been. Problem, I needed $875. I had $200 liquid, 20 years of savings. I call my brother Caleb in Texas, commercial developer. I need a bridge loan, $400,000, fast. Pause. What's the play? I explain everything. Another pause. That's the most Garrett thing I've ever heard. I'm in. That leaves $275. Mallory's article drops in the Tulsa Gazette next day. HOA president accused of fraud as neighborhood faces foreclosure. It's detailed, devastating, goes viral. Local TV picks it up, then Oklahoma City. By evening, Reddit's front page. I set up GoFundMe, save Pinewood Estates, stop HOA corruption. Goal, $250 for auction gap plus legal fees. Within 72 hours, $180,000. Donations flood in nationwide. People who fought their own HOA battles, people who hate injustice, people who see themselves in this. Deidre sees the article. Her phone explodes. Board members resign. Homeowners demand her removal. She tries calling emergency meetings to stop the auction, but the bank controls it now. Trimble quits. "I don't represent criminals. Find someone else." Lucia connects me with a nonprofit attorney specializing in community land trusts. We draft the charter, Pinewood Commons Trust. Mission, maintain common areas, enforce reasonable standards, no cosmetic tyranny, operate transparently. 7 elected board seats, 2-year terms, limits, open meetings streamed online. Everything an HOA should be. Here's your knowledge nugget. Community land trusts are legal structures where land is owned collectively and governed democratically. They prevent both HOA tyranny and gentrification. Google CLT model for your state. Auction